Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to teach you how you can trigger a lucid dream while 100% awake, alert, and fully conscious. If you didn't see my first video on lucid dreaming, you may want to check that out. It's a general introduction to the methods, but all of the critical information can be found here in this video. I'm only going to cover the process for the wake-induced lucid dream method in this video because, frankly, experiencing the other methods seems pretty trivial in comparison. The process of the wake-induced lucid dream can be thought of as two major steps. Step 1, triggering sleep paralysis, and Step 2, breaking through. Step 1, trigger sleep paralysis. You lie on your back and don't move. That's literally all you have to do. On paper, it's the easiest thing a person could possibly ever do. After you've remained completely motionless for a long enough period of time, your brain will do a kind of wakefulness check. This will come in the form of a strong urge to move or maybe an itch. This means that it's working. You have to ignore this wakefulness check. For me, it usually takes anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes for it to happen. After the wakefulness check, the paralysis begins. You will feel the slow wave start at your feet and gradually travel up the body. It feels like a heavy, tingling vibration. The challenge here is that it can be a little overwhelming, and any movement or excitement can cause it to stop and go away, which happens much faster than it comes on. The first time I intentionally triggered sleep paralysis, I got so excited that I ruined it. All I could think was, holy crap, it's real and it's happening. But with a little practice, you can move the paralysis wave up and down your body to have it where you want it. There's not much point in doing this other than curious exploration and practice. What we want is for the wave to continue traveling up the body until your head is completely submerged. Once it gets to your head, there's a dramatic shift in perspective. It's something comparable to being in a tank of rising water. You'll hear loud rushing noises as the wave approaches your head. You might also hear loud buzzing or zapping sounds. The key to success here is deep relaxation, but take care not to fall asleep. You have to remain calm. This can feel a little like trying to remain calm during a hurricane, but no matter how it feels, you must relax through it. Allow this biological function to do its job. It helps if you anticipate the intensity of it in advance. Now that it's happening, you're almost there. And by the way, I've heard that it isn't necessarily intense or uncomfortable for some people. Some people say that after doing it many times, you get to where you barely feel the vibrations. This hasn't been the case for me, but I've heard this. If you've managed to remain totally relaxed, you'll see that the harsh vibrations have settled and the loud noises have receded. You'll also notice that your body is totally paralyzed. At this point, you're ready for the next step. Step 2, breaking through. I'm not sure how else to say this other than you have to just get up out of your body and leave it. If you've done this before, you know what that means. You might realize that you're looking at your ceiling or your wall and think to yourself, wait, weren't my eyes closed? With practice, you'll recognize the difference between your physical body and your dream body. At this point, I just stand up on the bed and fly straight through the wall and go outside. And that's what you do. Now I want to share one of the most fascinating aspects of what a wake-induced lucid dream is like. Sometimes when you're doing this, you'll find that the imagery you see is a much higher resolution than what you can see using your physical eyeballs. I recommend doing this during the day for maximum visual awe. You can see daylight during the night, but it's if it's actually daytime when you're doing this, you'll most likely experience a bright sunny dream because your brain is expecting daylight. Plus, you're less likely to fall asleep during the day. One time I did this during the day, and I found myself on a rocky hillside. The visual acuity was so striking that I spent almost the entire time just staring at some rocks in awe. It was it was unbelievable how clear and sharp my vision was, far greater than the capabilities of those two meatballs on my face. Because with the wake-induced lucid dream method, you're so awake, you can really take in the dream senses. You can feel the terrain on your feet as though you were physically in this place. When you fly, you can feel the relationship of gravity to your body as you move through the air. I believe it's all constructed from your collected memories and your expectations. If your brain is aware that it rained that day, or the day that you did your wake-induced lucid dream, go feel the grass outside. It'll likely be wet, and the tactile perception will probably match your expectation. In other words, you can feel in this world just as you can in the wakefulness state, but you do have conscious influence over the content of the dream. If you want to change the grass into slime, you can do that. I should note that I've never felt pain while doing this. Having this sensual experience that so surpasses was previously thought possible can be life-changing. It's almost like stumbling onto an alternate reality. Actually, it's a lot like that. Before we end this video, I want to recommend two books. The first one is The Science of Sleep by Wallace Mendelson. This book isn't about lucid dreaming, but it's full of good information on sleep, the stages of sleep, the brain chemistry involved, sleep and health, sleep studies and disorders. It can be hard to find legitimate information on sleep, and this book is full of it. This is The Complete Book of Lucid Dreaming by Dr. Claire Johnson. This book is full of tips and advice for people who are interested in this practice. It isn't hard science like the first book, but there's a lot of good information in here. One thing that confuses me, though, is that her definition of the wake-induced lucid dream seems to be different from mine. Shockingly, I didn't see anything in this book about the technique I described in this video. Nevertheless, this book has a lot to teach whatever your level of experience. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you found it useful. If you have done this before and you want to share your experiences, or if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me in the comments. If you decide to try this, let me know how it went. So thanks and good night.